I did such a boneheaded thing, I can hardly even believe it. Hi, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel, Knotty Gnome Crafts. My channel is all about sewing and styling a handmade wardrobe. This video is a collaboration with Renata of the Twilight Stitcher. Renata and I have done collaborations in the past, and I was so thrilled that she asked me to collaborate again on a video about fall sewing. So I have several fall items to share with you today, but make sure that you watch till the end so you can hear my sad tale of how I did something really stupid. And after you finish with my video, make sure you go over and watch Renata's, and I'll link her video in the description box below. Let's just get started. The first fall piece that I wanted to share with you is the pattern Emporium with Love Poncho. This pattern comes in sizes 4 to 30 and I made a size 8. I bought this pattern last year when they had a sale, but I had not made it up yet. I really like that there are several different variations that you can choose as far as the neckline goes, and then there's also different length options. It just seems like a really nice, versatile pattern. I had 2 yards of this beautiful sweater knit that I got from Knit Pop. It's super soft, but it has some weight to it, so it's nice and warm. For my options, I chose the shorter length, I did the longer sleeve, I added the cowl neck, I did not add pockets, and I added the sleeve stitching line so that I can put my arms through the poncho and it's not flopping around on my body. Now this pattern called for 2 1/8 yards in my size, so I technically did not have enough fabric, so that's why I left off the pockets and any other kind of details. I really would have liked to have done the high-low version where it's a little bit longer in the back, but I just didn't have enough fabric for that. This pattern is super easy to put together. There's not even a shoulder seam. The only thing that I would watch out for is there's a lot of hemming, so I used my cover stitch machine and I followed the tips in the pattern for turning the corners. It does have mitered corners, and I think that it turned out really well. In the clip that I'm showing you, I styled this poncho with my Madewell skinny jeans and my Western style ankle booties. I really love this outfit, and I've actually already worn this poncho in a slightly different way with my Spanx faux leather leggings and some black ankle boots, and I just really love the style of this poncho. It's very easy to throw on for an extra layer. It is absolutely perfect for fall, and I would love to get some more sweater knit and make more of these in the future, and I want to try out some of the other views as well. The next pattern I want to share with you is the Sew Over It Roxy jumper. This pattern comes in sizes 6 to 30 and I made the size 8. This was another pattern that I purchased quite a while ago. I want to say it's been 2 years now, and I had not made it up yet. It has several different views, but the main features are that it is a cropped sweater and it has an option for full balloon sleeves, which I really liked, with a cuff. I find that this particular style of top is really nice to pair with high-waisted bottoms. So the first version that I made is version 1 with version 3 sleeves, and I made it out of this cotton interlock fabric that I got from Joann Fabrics last year, and it has this little like iridescent sparkle on it, which is really fun. So the only change that I made to this top was I did shorten the sleeves a little bit, probably about 2 inches. Otherwise I did not make any alterations, and I found that this fits really well. I absolutely love the way that it looks. It's really comfortable to wear, and this full balloon sleeve is probably one of my favorite puffy sleeves I have made to date. So in the clip, I have styled it with my Madewell denim mini skirt, and I just have it on with tights and some black ankle boots. I think that this outfit is so cute, but this top is really versatile. I've already worn it with jeans, I've worn it with trousers, and I just think that it's a really versatile top. You can even layer it underneath a pinafore or overalls. I really like the style of this. I ended up liking the top so much that I went on and made another one. So this second version is version 3, and the difference is that it has some gathers in the shoulder here, and it still has the puffy sleeve. The fabric that I used this time was a double brush poly from Joann that I bought last year but hadn't used yet. Now, longtime viewers of the channel might have just heard a little record scratch, and they're like, wait, Sarah, you use double brush poly? Don't you hate double brush poly? And the answer is yes, I do. But my thinking process was, I've only used double brush poly one other time, and I absolutely hated that garment and I got rid of it a long time ago. But so many people love double brush poly, and the particular fabric that I used the first time around was not very good quality. So I was thinking maybe I need to give it another chance, and not just say that I hate it forever after one time. So I bought this fabric from Joann when it was on sale, thinking that I could give double brush poly another try, to see if I really hate it or if it's something that I could get used to. So I do like that the fabric is very easy to sew. It went together really easily. It holds the gathers nicely. It does have this nice soft velvety texture. And I have worn this top for a whole day, and I have to say it's not terrible. It's still not my favorite. I do get a little bit sweaty by the end of the day, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I definitely don't think that I would use double brush poly for a summer garment. And I also don't think that I'm gonna run out and buy all the double brush poly, but I think that if I happen upon a print that I absolutely love at the right price, maybe I would purchase some more, but I still think it's not gonna be a favorite fabric of mine. So I guess in the end, my verdict is double brush poly, it's all right. So in the clip, I have styled this top with some high-waisted bootcut jeans, my black chunky Chelsea boots, and then I have put a leather jacket over my shoulders. To be clear, I only wore the jacket over my shoulders for the photos so that you could see the full sleeve. I would never actually style it that way in real life. In fact, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine when people wear their jackets over their shoulders because it's just so incredibly impractical, especially when you're outside and walking. Like the minute you move, the jacket's gonna fall off. So I just think that that is something that just looks good in pictures, but it is not a real life thing. So just to let you know, I would not actually wear it this way. I would put the jacket over the top. But otherwise, I do think that it's a cute outfit. I really do like this color and I like the print. I do want to make more of these Roxy tops in the future, but probably not anytime soon because right now I feel like having 2 of them is enough. The next item that I have to share with you is the Vicky Sews Andy dress. This pattern comes in sizes 34 to 52 and there are 4 different height brackets. I made the size 36 in the shortest height. I did receive this pattern for free as part of my Vicky Sews brand ambassadorship, but the opinions that I'm going to share with you are my own. I ended up shortening the sleeves 6 inches, which sounds like a lot, but it's because the original intention of the sleeve is to be like fit over your hand and then it has a thumb hole cuff, so they are meant to be really long. I didn't want the thumb hole cuff and so I shortened it to sit at my wrist. I think normally in Vicky Sews patterns I need to shorten the sleeves probably like 2.5 inches, like pretty much the normal amount that I need to do for other patterns. So just to let you know, like that 6 inches sounds like a lot, but it's because the cuff is meant to cover your hand. I also did my first ever full bicep adjustment and I used my favorite fitting technique book, which is called the Fitting Book, and I will link that down in the description box. Vicky Sews patterns are always labeled really well, and so they have like the bicep line on the pattern along with the seam allowances marked, so it's really easy to measure the actual length of the bicep. And then I compared that to my own bicep and checked the ease, and so that's how I decided to make a bicep adjustment. I added 1.5 inches and I think that that was perfect. The sleeves are well fitted, but they're comfortable, they're not super tight, and I'm really glad that I did that. I also shortened the dress significantly, but I'll get more into that in just a second. The fabric that I used was from D&H Fabrics. It is a cotton rayon modal sweater knit, and I only had 2 yards. So I technically did not have enough fabric to make this dress. It is a very, very soft and super spongy feeling fabric. It's really, really lovely. I have some more in another colorway, and I'm super excited to sew that one up as well. I really like this chocolate brown color. And so because I only had 2 yards of fabric, I had to get a little bit flexible with my pattern layout. So what I did was I laid down the pattern pieces. I did the sleeves and the collar pieces first, and then when it came to cut out the fronts and the back, I laid it out and I just made it as long as I could possibly make the dress with the fabric that I had on hand. I hope that makes sense. And the dress ended up being like a midi length on me. And I think it's probably supposed to be more of a maxi length. The other couple changes that I made is this placket is supposed to close with invisible snaps. I just left the snaps off because I would never close it anyway, and I think it looks perfectly fine as is. I also brought the dress in at the waist. I actually took 4 inches out of the waist because as drafted, it's a really, really loose boxy shape, and I knew that I would look better if I had a little bit more waist shaping. So I really am happy that I brought that in. I think that it skims the body, it looks really, really nice, but it's not tight. Now I have one more modification to share with you, which was an accident. It was definitely not intentional. And this is where my boneheaded mistake came in. And that is that I accidentally cut the front in 2 pieces instead of on the fold. Now, I swear to you, I have to shorten my pattern pieces pretty much all the time, and I've never done this before. But for whatever reason, when I shortened my pattern piece, I ended up covering up the note that says to cut it on the fold. And I think because that note had disappeared, I just wasn't thinking about it. So I ended up laying out my front and cutting out 2 fronts. And it wasn't even until I went to start sewing the placket that I realized that I have 2 fronts and when I'm only supposed to have 1. So I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, oh my God, I just cut 2 fronts. I've totally ruined this. I used all the fabric. I definitely don't have enough to cut another front. I don't want to go back and order more. What am I going to do? So after thinking about it, I decided it was time to learn how to do a 2-thread flat lock on my new serger. So I knew that this type of seam existed, but I had never tried it on my old serger, because on my old serger, you basically had to like take apart the machine and then like set it up to do a 2-thread flat lock, and it was just way too complicated and I didn't want to mess with that. Whereas on my new machine, it's a lot simpler. I did still have to look up some videos on YouTube to see exactly how to change the settings, but once I did that and I did a few test runs on some scrap fabric, I figured out how to do it, and I was able to save my dress by adding the seam down the front. And because it's a flat lock, the pieces are butted up against each other, so there's no overlap, so I didn't lose any width. So that was the perfect solution. I have washed this dress. I've worn it and washed it, and it's held up really well. There's no signs of it fraying or anything. So I was so thrilled that I was able to save this, because this was almost a disaster. I have one other minor change that I forgot to tell you about, and that is that I set in the sleeves flat instead of doing them in the round. The Vicky Sews instructions are always really thorough, to the point of maybe being a little bit too thorough for my taste. They will have you finish things in a really professional way, but for me, it's a little bit of overkill just because I'm lazy. For example, they have you interface the collar, but then they also want you to put stay tape around the edges of the collar, maybe because this is a knit and they just want to make sure that it's not going to stretch out. For me, I felt like interfacing was enough, and that I didn't do the stay tape because it just seemed like that was annoying and I didn't want to do it. But I'm sure that if you did do it, it would produce a better result. They also had instructions where they wanted you to reinforce the slits on the side with some grosgrain ribbon. Again, I'm sure that if you actually took that step, it would make a really strong, clean finish. I was lazy and I didn't feel like doing that, so I just did my normal cover stitched hem, and then I did a little bar tack over the split. So I do think the instructions are really, really good, but maybe not the most beginner friendly, because they are so thorough and they often want you to use specialty kinds of notions in order to get a really, really good finish. I think that if you did want to go the extra mile and do it, you would get a beautiful result. But I also think that if you're going to be lazy like me, you can get a perfectly fine result too. So because I am a Vicky Sews brand ambassador, you can get 20% off with my code SARAH if you use it for all English language patterns, and I will put that code and the link down in the description box. If you use my link, thank you so much for your support. So even though I finished this very recently, this dress is already a favorite of mine. It made it into my favorite fall dresses video. I will link that up above in case you missed it. In the clip, I have it styled with my black tights and ankle boots. I really do like the way that that looks, but I've also worn it in my normal everyday life with white sneakers, and I just love this dress so much. It is so soft and so cozy. I think that it's going to layer really well for fall with a jacket over top or a cardigan. And because this dress is kind of distinctive in my wardrobe, I don't really feel the need to make another dress, but I do really like the way that this collar looks, and so I would consider turning this into a top in the future, because I could definitely see myself wearing a slinky sweater knit type of top with this polo style neck. I really, really do like that feature. I do have one more current make to share with you, and it is my Deer and Doe Sirocco jumpsuit. I do have a full video review on my channel, so if you're interested, watch this one next. Thank you so much for watching.